Oh, that's it? That's what you want, the viral moment? This the shit? You saying LeBron is better than Michael Jordan?
Well, nah, I'm not. I just think LeBron the greatest. He did everything.
I think you delusional. There's too much delusion. Yo, we can't have top tier people being delusional.
Nah,
we already got everybody delusional out here. You're adding to the schizophrenia. You got this shit fucked up.
George Karl just detonated a bomb no one expected. The Hall of Fame coach didn't simply challenge LeBron James' place in the GOAT conversation. He took the gloves off entirely. In a discussion now exploding across social media, Karl delivered remarks so sharp and so personal that even longtime fans are questioning his line of attack. This has moved far beyond a normal basketball argument. It's turned into an all-out verbal showdown. And the shots Karl fired at LeBron's legacy could end up torching relationships he spent decades building. The entire basketball world is locked in. And what was said? You won't believe it.
You didn't have a bad game. You were scared. It was the fourth quarter of 4 consecutive games of an NBA Finals. Unquestionably the greatest player in the world went 4 games scoring 4 points or less in the fourth quarter with J.J. Barea and Jason Terry guarding him. There is no discussion here. There's no discussion here. The point that I'm making to you is this.
It began quietly, almost harmlessly. George Karl, the outspoken old-school coach with more than 1,000 career wins, has never exactly been known for biting his tongue. Controversy has followed him for decades. But in early January 2025, the tone changed. What started as standard media appearances slowly turned into something else. Karl began making comments about LeBron James that felt sharper, colder, and far more personal than usual. At first, most people brushed it off. A subtle jab here, a loaded pause there. The kind of remarks that only longtime NBA watchers know how to read between the lines. But history tells us this much. When George Karl starts circling a subject, he's not just thinking out loud, he's lining up an attack. And before long, he stopped circling and went straight in. The GOAT debate, greatest of all time, has always been basketball's most relentless argument. Jordan versus LeBron. Rings versus longevity. Ruthless dominance versus all-around brilliance. Fans have debated it from every angle imaginable, backed by stats, highlights, and pure emotion. Everyone thought they'd heard it all. But what George Karl was gearing up to say took things to a completely different level. The first sparks showed up on social media. Short clips from Karl's interview started spreading across Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. Fans replayed them in disbelief. Did he really just say that about LeBron? Comment sections exploded. Some people were stunned. Others applauded the honesty. But no.
You could say that, and my retort to that would be 6 NBA Finals losses.
So they only. Hold on.
There's 6 final losses. 6 finals losses.
Let me ask you a question.
6.
I just want you to tell me one thing, and we're gonna debate this.
Sure.
Tell me the team that he faced that was the 2017 or the 2018 Golden State Warriors.
What do you mean? I don't understand your question.
Michael Jordan. Tell me the team.
You talk about Michael Jordan?
I want you to tell me the team that Michael Jordan faced that was the equivalent of the 17 and 18.
And then the mask came off. George Karl stopped circling the issue and went straight for the jugular. In the interview now tearing through the internet, Karl didn't merely push back on LeBron James being the GOAT. He tried to tear the entire case down from the foundation up. Every word felt deliberate. Every point felt aimed to wound. Karl zeroed in on LeBron's career decisions, questioning choices that fans have praised for years. The super teams, the constant movement, the careful control over rosters and front offices. In Karl's telling, none of it screamed greatness. It screamed insecurity. He framed LeBron's career path not as strategic brilliance, but as protection, an effort to minimize risk at all costs. Look at how he built his legacy, Karl said, frustration written all over his face. Jumping from team to team, picking his teammates, stacking the odds in his favor. That's not what the greatest ever does. That's what someone does when they're afraid to fail on their own. The statement landed like an explosion, and Karl didn't stop there. He went straight for LeBron's finals record, the infamous 4-6 that critics never let go. Karl refused to soften it. Losing 6 times on the biggest stage, he argued, isn't something to be reframed or excused. We praise him for making the finals, Karl said, his voice climbing, but we ignore how often he didn't finish the job. The greatest player of all time doesn't lose that many championships. Period. Then came the comparison everyone knew was coming, and it was ruthless. Michael Jordan. 6 finals. 6 wins. No super teams. No exits. No calculated relocations. In Karl's version of history, Jordan was a conqueror who dominated his era. LeBron, by contrast, was a strategist, measured, political, always managing outcomes. What made it sting wasn't just the criticism, it was how personal it felt. This wasn't a neutral breakdown or a TV-friendly debate. Karl spoke with edge, with resentment, like someone who'd been biting his tongue for years and finally decided the fallout didn't matter anymore. And then he delivered the line that truly stunned people. Karl questioned LeBron's leadership. He suggested that LeBron's teams win in spite of his leadership style, not because of it. He described LeBron as passive-aggressive behind the scenes, quick to deflect blame when things fall apart. Coaches come and go. Teammates rotate through. The spotlight never moves. Great leaders lift everyone around them, Karl said. They don't control everything. They don't make it about themselves. He pointed to the long list of coaches LeBron has played under, the locker rooms that fractured under pressure. That's not leadership, Karl concluded. That's control. The basketball world froze. This wasn't a random hot take artist chasing clicks. This was George Karl, a respected, accomplished voice in the game, flatly saying LeBron James isn't a true leader. And once those words were out, there was no walking them back.
Some of you out there, it's a perfect opportunity to bring up the Michael Jordan, LeBron James comparison. So you know I'm here for it, right? Because you know I have these stats, I have these numbers. And you know that I wasn't going to forget to bring them out of here. Because it's important, y'all. It's important because I know some of y'all are going to talk. The obvious, you do know that MJ has 6 titles, right? And LeBron has 4. You do know that, right? You do know that MJ was undefeated.
Within hours, the internet erupted. LeBron James' fan base, massive, loyal, and always online, went into full defense mode. Twitter turned into a battlefield almost instantly. Karl's mentions were flooded with stats, accolades, highlight clips, and championship graphics meant to shut the conversation down before it could breathe. George Karl never won a ring. Why is he talking? Became the rallying cry. And it worked. LeBron supporters flipped Karl's own resume against him, pointing out the irony of a ringless coach attacking one of the most accomplished players the league has ever seen. The numbers came fast and merciless. For championships, 4 finals MVPs, 10 finals appearances, all-time leading scorer, all-time playoff scoring leader, top 10 in assists. The resume was overwhelming and LeBron's fans made sure no one forgot it for even a second. But Karl's defenders didn't back down. They pushed back just as hard, arguing that championships aren't the only measure of basketball intelligence. Karl coached for nearly 3 decades. He won 1,175 games. He took multiple franchises deep into the playoffs and earned Coach of the Year honors. Not winning a title, they argued, doesn't erase a lifetime of knowledge. Karl, in their view, had forgotten more basketball than most critics had ever learned. As the debate escalated, the generational divide became impossible to ignore. Older fans, those who lived through Jordan's reign in the 90s, largely sided with Karl. They echoed his criticisms, reminiscing about an era they believed was tougher, meaner, and less friendly. Jordan wouldn't have done this. Jordan didn't need help. Jordan didn't recruit. Younger fans saw it completely differently. To them, Karl sounded like another bitter old-school voice refusing to accept that the game had evolved. They saw LeBron's versatility, longevity, and basketball IQ as a different, more modern form of greatness. Super teams weren't weakness, they were intelligence. Adaptation. Power players finally had control. Media outlets poured gasoline on the fire. ESPN debate shows milked every quote. FS1 ran the clips on repeat. Podcasts dedicated entire episodes to breaking down Karl's comments. Some analysts were genuinely stunned by the venom. Others praised it as refreshing honesty in a league where most people speak in PR-approved language. But soon the debate turned ugly. Personal attacks replaced basketball arguments. Karl was labeled bitter, jealous, washed, irrelevant. Old controversies from his coaching days were dug up and weaponized against him. LeBron wasn't spared either. Called a stat patter, a brand before a player, a corporate product rather than a pure competitor. Comment sections devolved into toxic messes filled with insults about age, race, intelligence, and loyalty. What started as a debate about basketball greatness exposed the worst side of sports fandom. And through all the chaos, one question kept rising to the surface. Why now? This level of hostility doesn't appear out of thin air. George Karl has spent decades inside the NBA. He coached stars, built contenders, and earned respect throughout the league. But one thing is missing from his legacy, and it's the thing that defines careers in this sport: a championship ring. When you coach for 27 years, rack up over 1,000 wins, and never lift the trophy, that frustration doesn't disappear. It lingers. You can hear it whenever Karl talks about legacy. He came close multiple times, but close doesn't count in the NBA. Rings are the ultimate currency, and Karl knows it better than anyone. So when he looks at LeBron, for championships, 10 finals, global influence, and a permanent seat in basketball history, it's impossible not to wonder if resentment creeps in. Maybe Karl sees a player who had freedoms he never did. A star who could reshape rosters while Karl had to live with front office decisions. What makes it even more uncomfortable is the overlap in criticism. Karl was often accused of falling short in big moments, of his teams underperforming when it mattered most. Now he's using the exact same language against LeBron. Psychologically, it's hard to ignore. Projection isn't a stretch, it's plausible, and the optics are brutal. A coach without a ring criticizing a player with 4. To many, it screams bitterness. It looks like jealousy. Like someone furious that the game moved on without him. LeBron's supporters hammered that narrative relentlessly, and Karl didn't flinch. In fact, he leaned into it. No walkbacks. No clarifications. No apologies. He stood by every word as the backlash intensified. Whether that's courage or ego depends on who you ask. But here's the uncomfortable part. Once the noise dies down, some of Karl's points don't completely collapse. LeBron did form super teams. That's factual. He used player power in ways previous generations never could. Was it smart? Absolutely. Was it legal? Completely. But does it change how greatness is evaluated? Also yes. The finals record argument is also more complicated than fans want to admit. Making 10 finals is incredible. Losing 6 of them still matters. Jordan's 6-0 carries a different emotional weight, even if the paths were different. The leadership criticism is the grayest area. LeBron has had documented tensions with coaches and teammates. Reports of passive-aggressive dynamics and organizational control exist, whether fans like it or not. Are they exaggerated? Maybe. Are they fictional? Probably not. And then there's branding. LeBron has mastered narrative control like no athlete before him. Is that leadership? Is it self-promotion? Is it both? The answer depends entirely on perspective. The Jordan-LeBron debate will never end because both sides are right in different ways. Jordan was ruthless. LeBron is complete. Jordan dominated an era. LeBron survived multiple eras. Karl chose his side, and he chose it loudly. What makes this saga even more interesting is the silence from LeBron's camp. No response. No statement. No counterpunch. Silence can mean confidence. It can mean indifference. Or it can mean that, on some level, the criticism landed. As for George Karl, the damage is real. His reputation has taken hits, and some fans will never look at him the same way. But he also gained something else: relevance. In a media ecosystem driven by attention, Karl forced his way back into the center of the biggest debate in basketball. This controversy isn't just about LeBron or Karl. It's about how we define greatness, how generations clash, how legacy becomes personal, and how success, especially LeBron's level of success, inevitably breeds resentment. So now the question sits with you. Is George Karl a bitter coach lashing out at a player who achieved what he never could? Or is he saying what the old guard has been thinking all along about LeBron's carefully constructed legacy? There's no easy answer. And that's why this debate isn't going anywhere.